So hello everyone, my name is Edgar. I am with the AEE Solar team. As I mentioned today, we are joined by Easy Solar. We have two gentlemen here, Kyle and Mark, President and Vice President of Easy Solar. They will be teaching us a little bit more of the best practices for a junction box install and a lot more. As a reminder, we will have a Q&A session following the presentation. If you have any questions, please submit them via the questions section within your control panel at any point during the webinar. We will do our best to answer as many questions as possible after the presentation has concluded. All right, let's dive in. I'll pass it over to you, Mark, and we'll get this started.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, perfect. Good to be with you guys this morning. Thank you for taking time to jump on this. As Edgar mentioned, today you've got myself and Kyle, so I'll just introduce myself, Mark Tobler. Come from a long career in construction management, general contracting, project management. Was in fall protection for 8.5 years and got involved in solar about 2 years ago, and am the VP of Easy Solar. So glad to be here to be able to share some knowledge with you today. Kyle, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey everybody, thanks for taking the time. I'm Kyle. I've been in residential solar for the last 5.5 years. I've been at Easy Solar just for the last couple of months, but really excited to talk through our products and some junction box best practices today. And Mark will go through the slides, but I guess my takeaway would just be, obviously a bunch of this will be focused on our products, but what we ultimately care about is best practices, high quality installations, making sure that customers are taken care of and the industry continues to grow. And so if we can help with anything, be a resource for anybody on the call or anybody watching the recording, please reach out or send us any questions. We'd love to be helpful with whatever we can, even if it's not covered today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about great products that are going to move the industry forward. So with that, we'll jump right into this. So today, I want you to be able to understand and explain the unique benefits of the Easy Solar junction boxes. As Kyle said, we'll talk about ours, but it'll apply to other things as well. Understand the roof types that our boxes work with. What type of system would be ideal for the different variations of boxes, as we have a couple different sizes on comp shingle particularly, and then we have a tile roof and some other boxes we'll talk about. We'll talk about our newest product that's hitting the market here in just a few weeks. It's the universal rail mount box. Understanding how to utilize Easy Solar, us as a resource. As Kyle said, we're here for you guys. We want to be a resource whenever needed. Please reach out. We'll help you in any way that we can with our knowledge and with our connections in the industry, even if it doesn't apply to our particular products. And understand some installation best practices, some tips and tricks that help you make a really good install with junction boxes. So our whole goal is to make solar easy, and why use Easy Solar is simply because it's going to save you time, it's going to save money, and it's going to be a superior quality of product. Again, we want 30+ year products. 25, 30 years on a roof. It needs to last as long as the system, as long as the lifetime of a roof. And we very strongly believe in that. So fast installations. Number one is you only cut one layer of shingle with our box. You actually use the lid as a template, and you lay it down there on that course of shingle. You trace it, you snip it out, and then you are able to place the box. With our boxes, you can also enter through 3 side walls, which is a big deal. It just allows, again, ease of installation. A lot of times in the industry where panels run east to west on roofs, sometimes running the PV wires into the east or west wall of the junction box makes a lot more sense than having to come through the south wall. We also have a drill zone inside the box that gives you a lot of flexibility. You can do 2, 3, 4 holes, 5 holes, whatever you need for your attic penetrations in that drill zone. And so anything inside of there goes. We also have weep holes that are already manufactured into the boxes, so you don't have to worry about creating weep holes. It's there so that any kind of natural occurring condensation because we have different temperatures in the attic space and in the ambient air around the box. Sometimes you get natural occurring moisture. We want that to dissipate, so we've got weep holes already built into the boxes for you. Flexibility, even without attic access, you have the opportunity to use our boxes. You'd still attach it just the same way. You're just not going to make any penetrating holes into the attic space, but you can still mount the box, run your conduits into it. So again, it allows for a lot of flexibility for the installer to make the job easy with just carrying one box on the truck. There's another picture there, just kind of gives you an idea. And we also are big, very big, you know, Ben, the owner, myself, we spent years and years in construction. Say no to H2O is a very common phrase. Nobody wants to deal with water issues. And so we have 3 layers of waterproof protection in our boxes. First, the design of the box is shaped much like a house. That way, as water and debris hit that, it sheds away from the box. It cuts through that water and debris. Number 2 is we have the built-in flashing that integrates into the roofing, as we talked about on the installation side. You cut that course of shingle, slide that flashing in, and integrate it into the roofing. And lastly, we have a sealant guide on the back of each of our boxes. It's a little depressed indentation guide on each one that shows you exactly where to put that sealant. And this was designed in conjunction with a lot of conversations with leading manufacturers, Owens Corning, Certainteed, and just kind of getting their input on what is the ideal sealant pattern that should be on the back of these boxes as we incorporate them into those asphalt shingle roofs. And this is what was come up with. And so you put that sealant there on each box. As you attach that to the roof with the 4 screws that you can see are even within that protected envelope, you get a compressed, sealed fit down to the roof. So you got those 3 layers of protection: the shape, the flashing, and the compressed sealant that protects your box and all of your penetrations in the middle of that drill zone from any kind of water issues. High quality. We pride ourselves again on making sure that we have 25, 30-year plus products. And so we make all of our stuff here in the United States. Our bulk of our comp shingle boxes right now are made in Kentucky. Our tile box and our universal rail box are made in Utah. It's made from an advanced polycarbonate and stainless steel screws for the lids, zinc plated screws for the interior of the box that attaches to the roof. Everything is UL listed, UL compliant, UL 1741. We also have Canadian approvals for installers and people up in Canada. NEMA 3R rated. Again, that is the rating that we want on this type of an enclosure. We want that breathability to where natural occurring condensation will be able to dissipate. And we do have a 25-year limited warranty on all of our boxes. Okay, I'm going to just show you guys a couple little videos, just kind of show you the quality here of our boxes. Fun little video here. I can see this here.
It's not plastic, it's polycarbonate.
All right, so that's kind of a fun little video there that just kind of shows you the quality of the boxes. Again, polycarbonate is very, very strong product. Think about automobile headlights, commercial skylights, bulletproof glass, all those things are polycarbonate. And there's a reason. It's because they're very strong. They keep their shape and form in hot and cold weather temperatures, and direct UV exposure is okay for them. So not like a PVC or an ABS, some of these other plastics, you know, the sun and the UV makes them brittle, makes them warp. You won't have those kind of issues with our boxes. So make sure you're using a good quality box there. So as I mentioned, we got two different sizes of box. We've got a JB 1.2, which is 100 cubic inches. We have a JB 1.XL that's 200 cubic inches. Biggest difference is the size, obviously, and then typically there's a 4-port ground bar, and then the XL has a 5-port ground bar. And in the XL, the DIN rail is actually pre-installed for you. Otherwise, the boxes, you know, look the same and function the same. So here's a side-by-side comparison, you know, 100 versus 200, 4-port versus 5-port, a loose DIN rail versus a pre-installed DIN rail. And then it's basically the same except for a little bit higher rating on the JB 1.XL. It'll handle 120 amps. And really the JB 1.XL is more ideal for your 10 plus kW type systems, your bigger systems. They're going to maybe have 4 or 5 or 6 string type systems. Or if you like to use terminal blocks when you wire, then we would recommend that JB 1.XL because it gives you lots of room to make your wiring nice and neat, have service loops, all that. But both boxes will easily hold 4 string systems. Tips and tricks. So just a couple little quick tips here for as you install these. Just make sure you use the lid as your template when you trace the outline on the shingle course. That makes it very simple. You don't have to have anything additional with you. Second is just do not cut the entire profile of the box. Obviously, there's other products out there, boxes where you cut around the entire profile of the box and cut it in. Ours, you do not do that. So just in order to save time, make it easy on yourself, you just cut that single course of layer of shingles. And the bigger thing too is if somebody's using a razor knife and you cut around an entire profile where you're going a couple courses of shingles, there's a chance if they're not careful, you could cut the roofing underlayment, which would compromise the roof system. So you know, we would recommend obviously some scissors or snips to cut those shingles, makes it very easy. Make sure you're 0 to 2 inches below the course of shingles above. As I mentioned, use scissors or snips to cut the shingles. And the flashing has a little bit of flex. If you get a hold of our products or want some products, you know, reach out after this, we can get you some samples. But there's some flex in that flashing so that once you have sealant on the bottom, you can kind of flex it as you slide it into place in the shingle roof so that you don't smear the sealant and you get it locked down with a very good bead of sealant. And then follow the sealant guide. Don't cross across the bottom profile of the boxes. Sometimes people want to just kind of make a loop around the whole box. Don't do that because there's a chance that would plug up your weep holes. And again, NEMA 3R breathability in boxes is very critical to keep any moisture out of these boxes. And lastly, new installers, we know labor can always be a struggle in construction and solar. And so we know there's lots of new guys joining the industry. You don't have to worry. There's a QR code on our installation instructions. The newest guy on the job could take his smartphone, take a picture of that, go right to the 1 minute or less video and watch exactly step by step how to install the box. So you can get it, hit the ground running with a new installer on the roof. So I'm just going to show you quickly the video there. This is the video that they would see if they were to go to...
It's time to retrieve all those files you thought you lost. This hard drive recovery converter from Silky connects to any of your hard drives and instantly retrieves all your data in just seconds. For years, hard drives have failed me time.
Determine the location for the junction box on the roof surface. Using the lid as a guide, place the top of the lid 0 to 2 inches from the bottom of the second course of shingles. And trace the outline of the lid on the first course of shingles. Cut the roofing material to the shape of the lid outline. Then use a roofing bar to loosen shingles and remove any nails that would interfere with the flashing. Slide the junction box into place. Using a drill bit, drill through the box and roof simultaneously within the approved drill zone. Remove the junction box and drill appropriately sized holes in the box and decking for required conductor fittings. Clean off all burrs. Apply roofing sealant to the underside of the flashing following the sealant indentation guide. Slide the junction box back into place. Secure the box to the roof decking using the 4 Phillips panhead screws. Install approved fittings and strain reliefs and complete your wiring installation. When connections are complete, finish by installing the lid using 5 Phillips panhead screws. Hand tighten until head touches lid top.
Okay, so that would be the video right there that a new installer would get to via the QR code on our instructions. So very simple. We want it to be very easy for a new guy to jump in and do this and install it correctly. Moving on to our next product, we have a tile roof box. You can kind of see this is what it would come packaged with: your screws, your DIN rail, installation instructions, a universal flashing. It's a dead soft aluminum, and the enclosure itself. Key features: it has a universal flashing. We did this because we could do it a direct profile replacement type of a flashing, but as we looked into that and as we thought about ease of installation, making sure you have everything you need for a particular job as you roll up to it, a universal flashing makes sense. It's less parts to have to carry in your truck or your van, and also just allows you to do the W tile, the S tile, or the flat tile with that one flashing. There's no cutting of tiles. You simply pull one tile out. This universal flashing slides into place. It adheres to the shape and forms to the shape of the different types of concrete tile roof, and you're off to the races. So this kind of shows you here the flashing, and then on a W tile roof here, you can see how the flashing just forms right to that tile roof. Another major key feature is we have a revolutionary DIN rail positioning. So the box is pretty deep because of the way those tiles stack on each other. You can have 2 to 3 to 4 inch overlap, and you have bats and no bats on a tile roof. And so you want to make sure that the bottom of the box sits flush with the decking. And so the box has a special angle on it on the bottom so that it sits flush with that decking. But then because it's so deep, that would be hard to work on your wiring and stuff down there. It's a great space for service loops, but then you actually do all your wiring up here close. You come through any of these 3 sidewalls, and the DIN rail's right there where it's very easy and functional to work with. The box, again, with the design, the way it mates with the flashing, allows you to securely get down to the roof deck. And then again, it mates together. We have a male and a female type of flashing that mates together. You put some sealant there that we'll talk about in a minute, and that allows it to be a watertight seal. So here's kind of, you put some sealant around the flashing before you drop the enclosure on the flashing, and you can see we took one apart after it was installed, and you can just kind of get a good picture of what that does and how that sealant just really binds the 2 pieces together. So that's that. And then just some other features about the box. It's got 250 cubic inches. It's got a 5-port ground bar. It's got the loose DIN rail that you can attach on those DIN rail stands. Hardware package, again, rated for 1000 VDC, 120 amps. Typo, it's not 8120, but 120 amps, and can handle 4 to 6 string systems. Wire nuts, wagos, wire crimps, any of those types of wiring methods obviously works great. And then, like all of our boxes, you can come through any of the 3 sidewalls, make it very flexible for the conditions of the site that you're dealing with. And then weep holes, of course, are always part of our boxes. So those are kind of the main features there. And a sealant guide. Always want that sealant, get a good, solid, compressed fit. We can't emphasize that enough of how critical that is to just make sure you absolutely do not ever have to worry about water leaks. So just a couple pictures here just showing on the box itself. You got the drill zone, you got the weep holes there. You've got the sealant guide, just like we do on the other boxes. It's a dew press. It's the big thing again. Make sure you follow that. Do not come across here and plug your guides, and then the DIN rail mounting position. And this is just a box again, same one that we took apart. This kind of really shows you what that sealant does and how much it compresses. It goes at least an inch wide in all places. Even your deck attachment screws are protected, but this envelope here is critical where your fittings are to make sure that it's very protected. We never have to worry. And you can kind of see how the sealant it kind of expands out from under the box with that compression as well, so that you know you have a great sealed box. So tips and tricks on the tile box. Use both hands to push the box down to help form the flashing on adjacent tiles. This is most critical with the S-tile roofing, because it has the big humps in it. Sometimes the box, when you initially drop it in, it's not going to feel like it's sitting flush to the deck. You've got to press with both hands, just make sure that that flashing really forms and sucks down into the form of the S tile, the W tile, and of course flat tile doesn't matter. It just sits there and the box drops right in. So use both hands. Don't be afraid to put some pressure there and form that flashing. Other big thing is make sure your flashing overhangs about 1.5 inches on the tile, because at the end of it, at the end of the process here, see, I thought I had a picture. Oh, it's here. So right here, sorry, my screen was hidden there. You snip this and you tuck this under the tile lip, and so that's why you want at least 1.5 inches of flashing overhang. And the big key of why we do this is because you don't want any kind of wind vibration where a homeowner could be sitting down their home after you've gone and done your installation, and they think that something's going on the roof because they hear a little tick tack type of a vibration because of that flashing. So we definitely want to make sure we snip that and tuck it under. It gives it a nice fit there where it's not going to vibrate on the tile roof. Let's get back here. Okay, place sealant on the edge of the metal flashing. So you can place some sealant on both the edges before you place it. Only put sealant, again, I'll emphasize this, only put sealant on the east, west, and north edges of the box. Follow that sealant guide. If we put it on the south edge, we'll plug the weep holes, which we do not want. That would trap moisture potentially, so please keep that south wall open. And then you can use the plastic sacks of any of our boxes as a trash bag on the roof, or it's made to be a minimized packaging system where you can just put it in your pocket. You don't have to worry about cardboard and lots of debris that you're having to haul off the roof. I'll just show you this quick video as well. Let's see here. There we go.
If you are looking for a high-quality pergola, you need to watch this video. Some people get quoted by their contractor $25.
Determine the location for the JB2 on the roof surface. Loosen tiles in the row above the desired location. Remove the roof tiles where the JB2 will be located. Insert the aluminum flashing with the top edge underneath the row of tiles above. Center pentagon in the opening. Pressing firmly with both hands, bend the flashing to form to the contour of the roof tiles. Place the JB2 base into the opening in the flashing. Drill through the box and roof simultaneously within the approved drill zone. You will need a 6-inch or longer drill bit extender. Remove the JB2 and drill appropriately sized holes in the box and decking for required conductor fittings. Clean off all burrs and install your fittings. Apply a generous bead of sealant to the flashing sidewalls, as well as the underside of the JB2. Secure the JB2 to the roof decking using 5 Phillips panhead screws. Populate the JB2 with the needed components that are suitable for your intended purpose. Use a pair of tin snips to snip the bottom edge of the flashing on each side, creating a tab. Tuck the tabs under the adjacent tiles. When connections are complete, finish by installing the lid using the screws provided. Tighten until screw head fits snug on lid.
All right, so that's that simple video as well. So again, these videos are all at your fingertips as you're out there doing these installs. We try to make them very quick and concise so you can do your jobs efficiently. Just a couple pictures, kind of shows you some recent installs we got pictures of from some installers in the country here. Just a flat tile installation. You can see how they put some sealant on the edges of that flashing, kind of tuck that down, and then on a W tile there. Okay, so let's move on to our next product. This is our newest product. It hits the market here in just a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. It'll be on the market and available. This is our JB3 Universal Rail Mount Box. Super excited about this. Our whole business is focused on electrical enclosures, these junction boxes and wire management. We think about these types of solutions more than anybody else in the market, and very excited about this one. Some of the key features of the box: it has 109 cubic inches, 5-port ground bar, a loose DIN rail, the hardware package rated for 80 amps, 1000 VDC, easily do a four-string system. This is a great box for any roof, metal roof, tile roof, comp shingle roof where you don't have an option to mount a box down, or you want to just do a rail mount option. This would be your preferred box here that we produce. Some cool key features we have here. So we've added some drill zone boundary lines, and so these lines here indicate you want to stay within this realm when you're drilling the sidewalls, so that way when you get on the other side, your lock nuts and stuff still fit in there and don't run into the corners of the boxes. So we added those drill zone boundary lines just to help mitigate any kind of issues. Also on this new box, we have, of course, it universally attaches to any racking system. So whether it's K2, snap and rack, unirack, iron ridge, any of those racking systems, our box will attach to it. And the other thing that this box has is a little, you might be able to see it in this picture, but it's got some little tabs in here. So this DIN rail actually comes loose, but you slide it into the pocket here on the south part of the box, and then it snaps in up here on the upper part. So it's a snap-in DIN rail feature. So you don't have to use any tools, screwdrivers, anything like that to assemble the box. You get it, snap that DIN rail in if you're going to use terminal blocks, and you're off to the races. Tips and tricks. So we've got stainless steel clamps on the box, and they, as we'll see here in just a minute on the video, they'll form to any of these rail systems, and so they're very easy to use, and you can slide them onto the box and then slide the box right onto the rail. Let the box rest on the roof. You'll see it in the video, but this is very critical just because it ties your hands up to where they're not. It keeps your hands free so they're not tied up, and you let that box rest, and you can focus on just tightening down these clamps, and the box will self-level. Make sure that the screw heads are perpendicular, like this picture here. So you want the screw heads of the clamps to be kind of perpendicular to the rail when you start. You don't want them, naturally we'd want them probably vertical over here, just horizontal there with the rail, but you want them actually to be perpendicular because it'll feed around as that clamp tightens. And so those are kind of the big tricks right now and tips that we have for this box. And let me just show you a quick video of this box. So very, very quick install there. Very quick, very efficient. Again, these opportunities on roofs, whether it's metal roof, a tile roof, or a comp shingle roof, maybe where you're going to do a rail mount box because that's what you need to do. This box is going to be awesome. Let me just show you one other little thing again, just to kind of emphasize the really the quality of the box and how strong these stainless steel clamps are. They're stainless steel clamps, but they're coated black, so they look really nice. But you don't have to worry about salt content if you're on a coastal type of application, to where you're going to worry about any corrosion.
I'm reviewing the JB3 from Easy Solar. This is a universal.
Just gonna skip up here in this video to show you kind of when you get stuff into place.
This material is strong. That was one soft hit. That's impressive. I started out hitting.
Okay, so I'm gonna end it there. Just kind of a little bit of a tease there, but it really shows you again how much we value bringing a good product there. He took that big old sledgehammer, was pounding the box. Obviously, these boxes aren't going to see that kind of a destructive type of action on them up on a roof, but we want to test these things, and it just shows you that we really stand behind making a product that's going to last. The stainless steel clamps didn't even budge. It was actually the box itself, which of course with enough force you can break with a big sledgehammer. And so hopefully that gives you a good idea of just the quality of stuff we're trying to produce. That way you can walk away from an installation knowing that you've got a great product up there. So just a couple common questions, and then we'll kind of get to a Q&A session. We get asked a lot about the plastic. I've showed a couple videos now so that you understand that the polycarbonate is a different polymer than your PVCs, your ABSs. Those polymers are not rated for extreme weather and for a lot of direct UV exposure. They get brittle, they warp. Over time, they just don't withstand the test. If you think about inverter boxes, Enphase and Solar Edge, all of their inverter boxes are made out of the same polycarbonate material that we build our boxes out. And that's because it's really the right material to be out there with that UV exposure and the hot and cold temperature swings. So very, very strong material. Don't have to worry about the quality at all. We also get asked a lot, I don't see any punch outs on the box. What do I do? Where do I enter the box? Again, our boxes are designed so any of the three walls, your south, east, or west walls, you can enter the box. Use a hole saw, you can use a step bit, and drill that polycarbonate. It drills very nice, very easy. You can use the same step bit for months and months versus sometimes with metal boxes and other things, as you use those bits, they're expensive, but you burn through them quickly because they get dull. So anyway, it's all about flexibility to fit your needs. Put those entrances for your strain reliefs and stuff and for your attic runs where you need them and however many you need. Another common question is, I don't see a gasket in the lid. That's a great question, but again, being a NEMA 3R box rating is breathability, and so you want some breathability. You do not want a NEMA 4X, which is a completely 100% waterproof box, because that would trap moisture. Boxes like that are out there, you'll see that installers, you need to drill weep holes into it to give it breathability. And so we just stick with the NEMA 3R rating. We don't need a gasket. That would just be extra cost that would have to be passed on to you. We want to bring a product at a great price. How does it compare to other boxes? Again, I think our big differentiator is our whole team has experience. Our owner was an installer, spent a lot of years on a lot of roofs, thousands of installs using various products, and just wanted to really bring something from an installer's perspective to the installer to make your job easy, give you flexibility, and to be at a, a very good quality product at a great price point. And so that's where we try to differentiate. And we are asked a lot if you could just buy directly from us as an installer, and the answer would be no. We have a distribution network. Distribution is set up to handle all the various installers across the country. We try to stay lean and focus on what we're good at, which is to develop really good products at a great price. And the distribution can really help you guys. So get in touch with us on any of that. We can help you find pricing and distribution options. Just a quick picture of some of those products again. We also have on our website, just so you know, the links are here in this, but you go to our website, you can pull down any of the specs, drawings, key features, installation manuals. They're all on our website for all the products that are currently on the market. Feel free to grab those anytime if you need them. You also can reach out to us and we'll gladly send them to you. And we have some other testimonials and stuff. If you're interested, hit me up, hit Kyle up, anybody on the EZ Solar team. We can get you some of these different videos of the products, some testimonials from other installers across the country and just what they think about our boxes. And then we do have an EZ Solar YouTube channel. Feel free to browse that and kind of see what's going on there. I thank you guys for your time being here this morning, paying attention, listening to our spiel on our products and some of these tips and tricks with the boxes and how to best install them. I'm going to close there and we'll move into a little Q&A.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add on to the end before Q&A is obviously if for all the installers out there, we'd love to get you samples. If this is something that that you haven't used yet, you're not familiar with or anything else, please let us know. You can reach us through the website or my name, Kyle.Baum at easysolarproducts.com, and we'd love to get you samples of any or all of our products to let you get out there and try them.
Yes, thank you, Kyle, for mentioning that.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you for that presentation. It was very informative. As you mentioned, we'll like to kick off our Q&A session. So I have two questions here. Attendees, if you'd like to submit a question, please do so via the question section on the control panel, and then we can address it. So the first one is, can the box be reinstalled after the roof is replaced?
Yes, so the box, you can pull the box off, and obviously you'd have just a little bit of cleaning to do, get the sealant and things off the back of the box from an initial install. But yeah, if you clean that up, then yes, you could reinstall the box.
All right, the next one is, could you discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using screw terminals, inline wire clamps, and wire nuts on interior of the box? Is there a potential for long-term corrosion as a result of each method?
Gotcha. Tell me those three types: the inline crimps, the
screw terminal, and wire nuts.
Okay, so disclaimer first, I'm not an electrician. I'm not going to claim to be an electrician, so this is just kind of my opinion, I guess, professional opinion with some influence from what I hear from the field as I get out and talk with a lot of installers. But wire nuts, of course, are your most basic kind of connector, very cheap as far as inexpensive. But sometimes there's, I've heard of higher failure rates as far as just maybe sometimes those wire nuts can shake loose. And so, it's really preference. I can't tell you that one way is necessarily better than the other. Wire nuts work. People do it all across the country. You have other options like Wago, which have some lever action 221 type of clamps that are also a very good product as an alternative. The crimping, I think, are great products because you get a nice bite there where you have less chance for wires to come loose as long as the crimping is done well. But I think in each of these applications, even the terminal blocks or the screw terminal block, you're relying on your installer. There's human error to each of them. The terminal blocks, if you don't screw it down just right, could also have the potential that over time maybe a wire would vibrate out. And so each of them I think is great. It's more of what works best for your business model, and for the quality of product versus expense. There's a lot that goes into these decisions in a business, and so I would just say whatever works best for your business is going to work. I think a lot of it is training and just making sure that your guys know here's the standing operating procedures of how we make sure these connections are to the best of their abilities. Kyle, you had some additional insight.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say, it's funny because there's such strong opinions about it out there. We have installers who use the product who swear by terminal blocks, and others who are very happy with wire nuts, and others who use crimping. And so, but no, to answer the second part of the question, there's no risk of corrosion with any of them. As long as they're done correctly, the box is designed so that installers can use whatever they prefer and whatever works best for them without any long-term risks or worries about how that's going to hold up over time.
Awesome. Alrighty. Next question. DC power is different from AC wiring. DC will arc. I'm not sure if that's a question. More of a comment, so I appreciate that. I think that kind of concludes
Mark,
it.
do you want to? Yeah, that's worth us addressing. Mark, do you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah. So DC, of course, coming in a lot higher, a lot more dangerous electricity, I guess. And so, with some of those systems, you do have to make sure you have that continuous bonding, and that's kind of the part that I would address is make sure you put, a threaded coupler, whatever it is that you're using, and then you're going to run your conduit in your attic to kind of encase that DC wire. But put your threaded connector and then use a bonding bushing on that, so that way you can do your continuous grounding of your system. That's kind of a point that comes up once in a while with DC systems. AC, obviously a lot safer. It already kind of reduces how much dangerous electricity is in there. And you can run, your Romex and stuff, depending on where you are. Obviously check your codes and with your inspectors, but then you can just run Romex. You don't have to have the totally encased conduit type of application through the attic space. But definitely a couple different little intricacies with DC versus AC. Again, DC, you'll want to do a bonding bushing. Make sure you have that ground wire so you have a continuous bonding through your whole system there.
Yeah, it works. It works with DC. We have a lot of customers using Solar Edge, and they use our boxes, and so no concerns there. And the polycarbonate's actually made out of the same as the Solar Edge inverter, and so it's certainly rated for it.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And with the UL 1741 testing that we do, they do all those arc testings, all that stuff to make sure that obviously it's not going to start on fire. Again, just like Kyle said, Solar Edge and in-phase inverter boxes, both polycarbonate, totally good for both those types of systems.
Very cool. Alrighty, there are no more further questions. So I would like to give a big thank you to you, Mark and Kyle, for this presentation, for sharing your time and knowledge with us today. That concludes our live training. If you'd like to learn more about EZ Solar products, visit their website or shop them at shop@aesolar.com, or reach out to your sales rep to learn more. Thank you again for doing business with AEE Solar, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.